So for 5/8, why don't we do 16 inches of tail for a good clean taper? And then so around, go ahead and put it around the blocks. And we'll give it.
You clean that out?
Oh yeah. Ooh.
You're driving me insane.
That's not bad. Planers are worse.
Oh my God.
Planers are the worst. So let's give it about 4 inches from the blocks. Yeah, snug in here. So the blocks at zero, the breach of the blocks at 0. About 4 inches, we can get a nice seasoning in there. That'll give us room to do what we need to do with it. And we'll mark it here. So then once we have that distance, we'll pause. My other tails are in there someplace.
You want
A pennant like this, or any kind of piece of line that's straight, and you got a short run like this. Yeah. Because once you start with the board, it's going to want to twist a lot. Yeah. So this this is
oh, I see.
Yep. And that'll keep it from, it'll help. And then that. I'll probably run with this. This is 48 one.
Yeah.
That was small. I guess I've been using so much 4mm recently.
Not friction?
Yeah, for this I think friction tape's fine. The big stuff we're going to use canvas, but where did my mark go? Right there. So somewhere in there. I mean, this is
Close enough for government to work.
well, I mean, it's good. We're going to turn a seasoning to close it, so. That's probably going to be long enough.
So you just hitch it there so it doesn't come loose?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so and having a little length on there at the back end isn't a real big deal, because that'll just get incorporated into the worming of the eye when we go to serve over top.
Oh, that's right.
So where would you stop? The smaller the line, you wouldn't be serving? Worming? Excuse me. Worming.
All of this worming is, if you're going to be serving, I mean, this is 5/8, so some smaller than this, I mean, you know, we might could get away with not worming, but I'm a big fan of it. If you're going to be serving over top of it,
Yeah, it's just what it is.
you're going to end up with
That.
you're going to end up, yeah, you end up with that. You're going to end up with an 8-year-old standing there looking at your bobstay going, huh, I don't guess they put any worming under there. Like Schooner Columbia.
Yeah.
They did not worm their bobstays. They just parceled and served them.
Huh.
And my 10-year-old was standing there and goes, what's wrong with that bob? Well, he's 10 now. He was 8.
Yeah.
but it's one of those things that is noticeable. So wormed, and then parceled, and for this we'll just go right there. And you'll notice I'm going with delay. Alright, so that's wormed and parceled. So when I'm laying material on this for just where I'm going to splice an eye, where I'm just serving the bite, I don't do any kind of fancy finish or start or anything. I'll come over here, I'll tie just a constrictor, and take a couple of turns there, because what's going to happen is when we go to do this eye, I don't need a hard finish in here because I'm going to splice this. So that serving is going to want to blend into the serving that we're going to put on the neck. And so
A little more complicated than yours. I said that's a little more complicated than the one you made. Doesn't have that.
It doesn't have the bread tie?
Doesn't have the adjuster, is that what that is?
Yeah, doesn't have the bread tie. It's okay, you can get the bread tie in, you know, at any kind of kitchen store. It's just an extra tensioner. So, and I'll start like right here, and I'll just start getting my turns on. And these, I just kind of throw on there because I'll pull it back to where it's...
Okay.
Yeah. And so now I'm
So that's really just to get it started.
To get it, well, because you don't have to do anything fancy because you're going to be pulling this back for the splice anyway.
Right.
So, and then like once we go to, when we go to serve the splice, I'll show you how to start it in the other way, and we'll show you how to finish it. But that's, I just like the bread tie on there because it's nice. It, if I stop, it's gripping it.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. So I can let go of it or do whatever I need to do. And well, somewhere in there, I think it was
Pickup mark.
Yeah, I think that was just a drip. Because I'm pretty sure I covered the mark with tape. And now I'm into the tape. So that one gets hitched.
So back to the tape.
That one gets hitched. And this one. So Sarah took a picture for you with it out flat, but if it won't stand out flat, it's not tight enough. So on all this worming, we can use that later.
Don't cut it out.
How much
Don't
extra
cut
in
it off.
how much extra in the worming do you?
You don't need a ton for this, but I don't cut it off until the end because we might want it.
Right.
And then we're going to go right there. Yeah. So, and this service was total. This was 26 inches. This is the 4 topsail brace pedal. So you want to make them the same. Sorry, pass me a Sharpie. So when I'm doing work on the bench, I start making kind of a story pole Normally I'll take a piece of tape and just go down the bench if I'm going to be making repetitive stuff. Since we're only making 2 of these, we don't need to make a full size kind of thing to mark it out. But like when I'm making like all of these that I made for Sabino, there were 8 ends. So when I spliced that, I put a piece of tape out here and I made all my marks on the tape so I could transfer them to each one as we went. So when you're doing a lot of repetitive block straps, it's good to take a piece of tape out on the bench and work it that way. So we got our 2 ends. We'll throw just a hitch right here. Just to kind of keep that from creeping. Get them kind of lined up. And I'm going to take one of these longer tails and I'm going to take
and just cinch it together.
Yeah, and that way, and I'll throw a couple of wrapping turns in there. And it doesn't have to be like rock hard or anything, it's just to hold it together. They cut with heat, not with pressure.
Right.
So if you try and saw with it and you put a bunch of pressure on it, you're going to bend
it. Yeah.
So you cut it and then just kind of butter
it. So now the ends are fused.
Yep.
Because if I took this tape off and they weren't fused, they'd go poof.
Right.
So you can see there's one trying.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I get it. Yep.
There?
Yep.
So I'll take and break that.
And then just do it again.
Butter it again.
We're just going to melt that edge down.
Right.
Okay. So all the way up. Alright, so with them served, it's kind of nice because they're kind of set there, so there's no real judgment in where any of them go, you know?
There's always judgment to me.
Well, this one's laying in front, this
Right.
one's laying behind, and this one's in the middle.
Right.
This one's going to go right here. And so right there like that.
Yeah.
So, and you know, get physical with it. This one's going to go right in here. And because this is all going to get served, you start flattening them out pretty immediately. You don't have, I mean, this one you're going to want to twist up like that so it comes over the the corner for that back tuck.
Oh, that's the back. Yeah. Okay.
That's the back tuck.
Yeah.
And then that's your first tuck, and here's the second. What a lot of people call the second tuck, because you always tuck this one first and this one over the top.
Right.
I find that that back tuck's good just to stick in there.
Back tuck, I think, is the one I usually do last.
Yeah, it depends on how it all lays.
Yeah.
So we got them in there. I have a hook set up on this bench for splicing this stuff, splicing kind of all the stuff. Because I like to splice under a fair amount of tension.
Yep.
You can see now that I started to pull that down.
Yeah.
And I'm going to stop right there, and I've got one right here. I don't have to go get one. So, kind of mushes the fibers around a little bit, which will, then when you pull on them, they'll kind of go where they need to go. All right, so that's, you see that's pretty square and pretty straight.
Yep.
Because it has twist in it.
Right.
So if I'm holding it right here and I pass this through here and I just pull this down, I can feel it wanting to twist. And I know because I've got a hold of it here, it's going to lay the way I want it because I'm forcing that into it right there. And that's looking pretty nice. And just giving it a thump once in a while is going to flatten the whole thing out, and it's also going to let you get a little more pull on it.
Right.
So what is that? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. So here's 5. But I think because a lot of these are going to be a step taper, I think we could probably go 4 tucks, and we could start removing our material at 4, particularly since this is going to be served.
Right.
Anything that's going to be spliced but left out in the open without service, I think we got to do 5 before we start our taper.
Okay.
And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. So we'll take 7-ish out.
So not necessarily like half and a half, but
No, a third.
third.
So I'll take 7. So I'll take and I'll pull down like this and open it up. And where it's fused together, I'll break it off. I'll take this and I'll put an overhand knot in it, a little slippery overhand knot, so it's up there out of the way.
Nice.
And then I'll tuck it, because we're going to want that later.
Emails for me, you can look at it later.
All right. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll run this out. Break it. That's the nice thing about having it fused, because they'll then stay together. And I kind of wind them up a little bit, and I pull it, you know, my slippery overhand up here, and lay it off to the side, and drive that turn. See, that's a little bit harder than I wanted it, so I'm going to do that. There we go. See how I flattened that out?
Mm-hmm.
So that's the first step. And then here's the second one.
So the second time, then you take out another 7, roughly.
Right. Now with 3-strand, I shake it and then twist, shake it, throw a twist in it, and that'll start bringing it back down into shape without cranking it too hard. So that's that, and you could even take one more tuck with this last set, but I don't think you really need to. I mean,
By that point.
that ain't going anywhere.
And then you're serving over top of it.
Right. Alright, so let me get back over here. So I can untie this now because it's all together.
And I'm making notes on things like tucks and all that sort of thing, so we have it written down here.
Awesome.
Yeah. 5 if it's going to be open, and
4.
start your taper at 4 if it's going to be served. I think that's fair. I mean, doesn't get any fairer than that.